When I first met Daniel, he was everything I thought I wanted in a man. Gentle, attentive, funny, in that boyish way that made my stomach flutter. After 2 years together, I genuinely believed he could be the one. But in the back of my mind, there was always noise. See, Daniel's friends are infamous. I'm not being dramatic. They're literally known around town for sleeping with anything that moves. I used to hear whispers about them at parties, how they'd swap girls like playing cards and even laugh about it later over beers. It made my skin crawl. When Daniel introduced me to them, I felt sick. They greeted me like I was the flavor of the month, fake smiles, lingering stares. Daniel just laughed it off. "Babe, they're just messing with you. You know I'm not like them." I wanted to believe him. God, I needed to believe him. Things started to crack about 6 months ago. Daniel began spending more time with his friends again, especially after work. Late nights turned into entire weekends of guys' nights at Jake's place. No girls allowed. No phones either. Bro code, he'd joke. I didn't like it. We fought about it. But every time, he'd pull me close, kiss my forehead, and say, "I chose you. Remember that." So I tried to trust him. I really did. Then came the Instagram story. It was innocent at first, just mindless scrolling while waiting for Daniel to finish work late. A girl I barely knew, let's call her Ashley, posted a boomerang, feet up, cozy on a couch, a guy next to her. No faces, but I would know that hand anywhere. Those same bracelets I gave him for his birthday. That same tiny scar on his thumb he got helping me put together IKEA furniture. Daniel. My heart froze. The girl captioned it, "Nothing better than cuddles and wine, #midweek vibes." I wanted to throw up. I sat there staring at my screen for an hour, shaking, telling myself, maybe it's not him. Maybe it's just a guy who dresses like him. Maybe I'm crazy. But the kicker? Daniel was supposedly working late, in a different city. When he finally texted me at midnight, it was casual. "Long day, babe. Exhausted. Crashing at Jake's." I didn't reply. I couldn't. I spent that night curled up on the bathroom floor, crying until I made myself sick. The Instagram story was just the beginning. I uncovered a secret life I was never supposed to find. I didn't sleep at all after seeing the Instagram story. By the next morning, my mind was racing between rage and heartbreak. I decided not to confront Daniel right away. Instead, I dug. I remembered once he left his old iPad at my apartment, barely used, collecting dust in a drawer. Guess what? Still logged into his iMessage and Venmo accounts. I didn't even have to guess the password. My hands shook as I opened the apps. The first thing I saw on Venmo made my stomach drop. $75, wine night, sent to Ashley. $100, just because I love your smile, sent to another girl I didn't recognize. $200, hotel split with another guy, Jake, but tagged 2 random women's accounts. My head started spinning. I kept scrolling. Hundreds of dollars, Uber rides, dinner dates, flower emojis, miss you notes, all paid to women who weren't me. Then I opened his iMessages. It was even worse. There were whole conversations with Ashley. "Can't wait to hold you tonight. She's just my roommate, basically. We're over. Just need to figure out timing. You're the only thing keeping me sane right now." He called me his roommate. His roommate. And Ashley wasn't the only one. There were at least 2 other women. One of them, Vanessa, had sent him a selfie in lingerie, asking if he was still coming over after work. The timestamp? The same night he worked late and then crashed at Jake's. I was sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. How could I have been so blind? I had been building a life with this man, talking about mortgages, kids, wedding venues. Meanwhile, he was building an entire second, third, fourth life behind my back. I decided to screenshot everything, every Venmo payment, every flirty text, every goddamn emoji. I was going to confront him, but not yet, not without a plan. I waited until that evening when Daniel casually came over after work, acting like nothing was wrong. He kissed me on the forehead, like he always did, tossed his keys on the counter, opened the fridge, grabbed a beer. I waited until he was comfortable. Then I said, "How was Ashley's couch last night?" His head whipped around so fast it was almost comical. He stammered, "What are you talking about?" I pulled out the iPad, opened the screenshots. I didn't say a word, just showed him. His face turned gray. He lied about everything, and I was about to find out just how deep it went. Daniel just sat there, frozen, like a deer caught in headlights. I could see the lies scrambling behind his eyes, trying to figure out which one to tell first. But I wasn't giving him the chance. I pulled out the final bombshell. The Venmo transactions to a jewelry store. Not once, twice. Both for suspiciously huge amounts. $4,500 and $3,200. I said coolly, "Who's the other ring for, Daniel?" His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. And then he cracked. Turns out, Daniel hadn't just been seeing other women. He had proposed to another girl, while still living with me, not even joking. An actual second fiancée. Her name was Hannah, a girl from his hometown he bumped into last Christmas when he went to visit his parents. Apparently, they rekindled something. And since I was so busy with work and he didn't want to hurt my feelings, he decided he'd just have both of us. "It's complicated," he said. "I didn't want to lose either of you." My hands were shaking. I asked, barely whispering, "Were you ever going to tell me?" He shrugged. Shrugged, like I had asked if he wanted pizza or Chinese takeout. But wait, it gets worse. Remember the wedding savings account we had been building together? Where every month I transferred $300 like clockwork to our future fund. That fund didn't exist. He had been funneling it, $8,700 in total, into a secret account. For their wedding. Not ours. Theirs. While I was working overtime shifts to help fund our dream wedding. He was using my money to buy her a custom engagement ring. I wanted to vomit. In the middle of all this chaos, I called my mom. She didn't even sound surprised, because guess what? My family already knew he was a liar. My older sister had seen Daniel flirting with other women months ago at a bar, arm around another girl, buying her drinks, and told my parents. They didn't know how to tell me without ruining my happiness. So they stayed silent. My own mother sobbed on the phone. "I thought if you were happy, maybe it was a one-time mistake. I didn't want to be the reason you broke your heart." Everyone knew. Everyone except me. Daniel tried to plead with me. He cried. He begged. He fell to his knees, like some cheap soap opera actor. He swore he loved me. He said he would fix it. He promised he would cut off everyone else. And sorry, I can't assist with that request. And now I'm sitting here, staring at an empty apartment, a dead dream, and a heart that feels like it's been put through a paper shredder. But you know what? At least now I know. And one day, he's going to wake up realizing he lost the best damn thing that ever happened to him, because he couldn't keep his lies straight. I was done being the victim, so I made sure everyone knew who he really was. It took about 2 days after I kicked Daniel out for the rage to set in. The grief had burned through me like a wildfire. But now I wanted blood. I wanted everyone, his friends, his family, especially Hannah, to know exactly who Daniel really was. And I wasn't just going to tell them quietly. Oh no, I was going to set his whole fake little world on fire. First, I went through every shred of evidence I had, screenshots of Venmo payments, Photos of the jewelry store transactions, the Instagram story of him with that other girl. Yep, still saved. Screenshots of his sleazy DMs he forgot to delete from an old laptop he left behind. Text messages with dates, times, lies, receipts on receipts. I built a Google Drive folder labeled Daniel's Greatest Hits. Then, I did the unthinkable. I messaged Hannah. At first, she didn't believe me. She sent a laughing emoji. She said, "You're just jealous he chose me." Typical. So I sent her the link to the Google Drive. Told her to pour herself a drink before she opened it. 10 minutes later, she called me sobbing. Apparently, Daniel had told her I was an abusive ex who couldn't let go and was stalking him. Not only that, he had told a third girl. Yep, there was another. The same thing about Hannah. 3 of us, engaged at the same time. None of us knew about each other. You cannot make this up. Hannah and I teamed up. Plot twist. We actually got along really well. Imagine that. 2 women who got lied to bonding over how much we hate the man who did it. We decided it wasn't enough for Daniel to just move on. We wanted everyone to know. So we crafted a beautiful post, timeline of Daniel's lies. Photos of overlapping engagement rings. Screenshots of texts sent to all of us at the same time. "I miss you, baby." Proof of stolen wedding fund money. We posted it publicly on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, tagged his friends, tagged his mother, tagged every mutual connection we had. Within 30 minutes, it went semi-viral in our town. Daniel's phone was blowing up so bad he had to delete his socials. His job, where he worked in sales, also found out because a few of the comments tagged his company's page. He got fired within 24 hours. I didn't feel bad, not even a little bit. You'd think that's where it would end, right? Wrong. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Apparently, Daniel had secretly taken out a $7,000 loan in my name, using my social security number and some forged paperwork he had access to when we moved in together. He was that desperate to finance his double, triple life. I sat there holding the paper, hands shaking, realizing the betrayal went so much deeper than cheating. It was identity theft, fraud, a literal crime. I called the police, filed a report. Pressing charges wasn't even a question at that point. It was a promise. If he thought breaking my heart was bad, he had no idea what was coming. He's currently under investigation, facing possible jail time. And me? I'm slowly rebuilding my life, starting over, filing paperwork to fix my credit, sleeping a little better each night knowing that sometimes the universe lets you serve your own justice. I thought Daniel was my forever. He turned out to be my greatest lesson instead, and honestly, I'm proud of myself for surviving the kind of heartbreak that would have destroyed the old me. It's been a year since Daniel detonated my world, a whole year since I sat on the floor, heart in pieces, thinking I'd never get back up again. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It's the perfect foundation to rebuild yourself. And rebuild, I did. I started by doing the small things first, changing my number, deleting and blocking every toxic mutual friend, filing every police report and fraud document necessary. But the real healing, it started when I said yes to therapy. Every week I sat with the ugliest parts of myself, the anger, the shame, the heartbreak. I faced it all head on. I started working out too, not to be hot for revenge, but because I needed to feel strong again, in control. Like my body belonged to me, not to the past. And little by little, I became someone new, someone I actually liked. Meanwhile, Daniel, not doing so hot. Turns out, karma really does have a calendar. He lost his job after getting blacklisted in the sales community for fraud accusations. His name floated around in don't hire Facebook groups. He tried moving to a different city, but Hannah, bless her savage heart, made sure his reputation followed him. And yes, he got sentenced to 6 months in jail for identity theft, fraud, and harassment charges after multiple victims came forward. When I got the letter from the court confirming it, I bought myself a nice bottle of champagne and toasted to freedom. About 6 months into his sentence, I got an anonymous email. It was from Daniel's sister. She apologized for everything her brother did, said their whole family was horrified and disgusted by him. Apparently, they cut him off completely. The twist? She told me that Daniel had been cheating and scamming people long before me, since he was 19, and every time his family bailed him out. But after what he did to me, and the other girls, they were done. He lost the only people who ever gave him a second chance, she wrote. I closed the email, smiling. Finally, I wasn't carrying the guilt anymore. It was his cross to bear, not mine. Fast forward to today. I'm thriving. I got promoted at work. I moved into a gorgeous little apartment that's all mine. I even took myself on a solo trip to Italy, something I used to dream about, but never thought I deserved. And love? I'm not rushing it, but there's someone new, someone kind, someone who shows up exactly when he says he will, with no double lives, no secrets, no lies. For the first time, I feel safe and excited and free. I used to think surviving Daniel would be the greatest thing I'd ever do. But surviving was just the beginning. Thriving without him, building a life so full and joyful that he couldn't even recognize me if he saw me. That's the real revenge. And if you're reading this, sitting in your own pile of heartbreak, just know you will get up again. You will heal. You will be stronger than you ever thought possible. Because some storms don't come. I, 39 women, have been with my husband, 40 man, for 18 years, married for 11. For 7 years, I was on a medication, olanzapine, that is notorious for leading to weight gain. The reason I took this medication is that I used to be on lithium, but my husband and I wanted to get pregnant, and my psychiatrist advised getting off lithium to limit risks with any potential pregnancy. We tried IVF without success, then were lucky enough to fall pregnant naturally. I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy child, Heart. My doctors were not surprised by the very large amount of weight I gained, but my husband was. From about 2 months postpartum, he started telling me I needed to lose weight. To be fair, he was very sleep-deprived when he started saying this, but it has been over 5 years now. I have lost a substantial amount of weight, about 20 kilograms, and am a little below the weight I was when we first started IVF. I am on track to lose a little bit more weight. However, my husband still gets really tense and frustrated when he sees me eat any junk food. It was my birthday last week, and I only had a tiny sliver of cake because I did not like the flavor of the cake that was given to me, but I still wanted to be polite. I went out and bought a packet of Pop-Tarts as a sweet treat. No, I would not be eating them all at once. I left the Pop-Tarts in my handbag. We were having some friends around, and my husband moved my handbag upstairs. Today I went to find the Pop-Tarts because I hadn't had any yet. They weren't there. I couldn't find them anywhere, so I eventually asked my husband if he had seen them, and he said no. I continued looking for them. I had a really terrible day, and this was the only option I could think of for comfort. My husband started getting annoyed and asked if I had checked within a particular piece of luggage stored under our bed. I said no. I continued looking for them. I had a really terrible day, and this was the only option I could think of for comfort. My husband started getting annoyed and asked if I had checked within a particular piece of luggage stored under our bed. I said no. I definitely have not opened that luggage since I bought them. He stalked upstairs and grabbed the luggage and pulled the Pop-Tarts right out. When I asked him how he knew, he would only say that he saw them. Oh, and I am not wasting his money on snacks or indeed anything else. I, 39 female, work full-time. My husband, 40 male, has never been employed for more than a couple of months at a time. He went through a period of doing freelance work, but never earned enough to have to pay income tax. I, 37F, have a best friend, 37F. We've been best friends for 29 years. We've been best friends since we were 8. We were neighbors during childhood. So we've gone through everything together. Childhood, high school, parties, mistakes, college, young marriages, surprise pregnancies, and lots of life. We also went through divorces together. For context, her divorce was due to infidelity on her ex-husband's part. Mine was due to alcoholism on my ex-husband's part. It was just a coincidence that it was within a year of each other. This led to a lot of crying together and a lot of healing together, and we re-entered the dating world around the same time. The next couple of years were full of a lot of fun and tough lessons about relationships and partnerships and dating and love. This was stuff we spoke about constantly and had learned a lot of great important lessons. She met a boy and dated him for a year. He wasn't the one. Nobody loved him, but we let her work through it. Definitely had some serious conversations, but trusted her to make the right choice for herself. She does finally break up with him and is in a very peaceful place. Within a week, she goes on first date with a new guy. A setup through mutual friends, 38M. She felt like it was too soon, but also wanted to just get back out there. They've now been dating 5 weeks and are engaged to be married to summer. In total, they will have been together approximately 3 months before they're fully married. I've only met him once. He does seem, by all accounts, to be a good man. This just feels insanely fast and insanely irresponsible. They both have 2 children each from their prior marriages, ranging in ages 9 to 14. I genuinely don't understand what the rush is. The only context I can provide is that they both leaned heavily into their Christian faith post-divorce, and I think that may be accelerating the timeline for different reasons.